7.
She went somewhere.
6, 5, 4. Oh, she does. I thought I heard her say that, but it's okay. It's fine. Once she comes back, we will get her on. That is too hilarious. It's fine. She gonna roll back up like, yeah, I was live. Yeah.
Did you go live yet?
I can hear you guys.
Okay. Yeah, we are. Can you hear us? Because we're live now.
My camera fell. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Perfect.
It's all right. It happens. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of the Speak Easy. It is a Wednesday night episode. We're coming to you live with a special episode from two young ladies that really want us as a people, a community, to live healthy. And I'm not the expert in healthy living at all. I eat what I eat and I do what I do. But I want to do better. And there are a lot of viewers like you out there, loyals, that want to do better. So tonight is your night to learn how we can take care of our bodies. So without further ado, I would like these two young ladies to introduce each other. Let's start with Mrs. D.L. Whitaker. Go ahead.
Now, am I supposed to be introducing me, or am I supposed to be introducing Kim? Kim, this is one of my good friends. We've been friends for over 20 years, if I must say so myself. And she does juicing, and she has Juice for Life as her juicing business. And she really took to it when she went to the EAU and brought it back. And she is bringing all these wellness aspects of juicing and what it does for your digestive system and your healthy lifestyle, so you can live longer, productive, healthier lives. Because it's not about the amount of time that you're here on this earth, it's about the quality of the life that you have when you're here. So we're about having, if you're going to be here for 77 years, you want to be here 77 years, living, walking, talking, and not having nobody take care of you but yourself.
Right. I love it. Awesome. And Kim, go ahead. She Miss Whitaker has introduced you. Welcome, Miss Whitaker. Mrs. Kim, introduce yourself as well.
Hi, everyone again. I am Kimberly, and I am the CEO of KM Juice for Life. Now, I don't know if you all remember, but when I was speaking before, I was speaking about how I do colon cleanse, and I mentioned D.L. Whitaker as a person who duties out in California. So D.L. Whitaker, she said, we have been friends for over 20 years. We have been on a journey of helping each other become more healthier, so we can live a healthy life. So yes, I want to make her on.
Kim, you still there?
Kind of losing her.
Because we lose you a little bit. I know how that Echoes County internet can be, but we lose you a little bit. So we're going to go ahead, and Kim's going to get back on in a second. She's frozen for a minute. But, you know, Miss Whitaker, okay. I'll be honest with you. I know absolutely nothing about, colon cleansing. Before we get into that, I do want to say to our viewers that these statements have not been approved by the FDA. The products that we're going to talk about here should not be used to treat, cure, prevent, or diagnose your condition. If you are nursing, pregnant, or on medication or under doctor's care, make sure you always consult your physician prior to consuming any nutritional supplements. Results are not typical. Individual results vary. The products we're talking about are made in a facility, and it uses different natural resources or different things to create these. And with colon cleansing, you definitely want to consult a doctor because it's not guaranteed to work the way that it may work for someone else. With that being said, Miss Whitaker, I am clueless about what colon cleansing does. And a lot of guys I know I talk to, they're like, I'm not doing that because it just has always sounded bad to us.
It's taboo. It's very taboo. Yes, that's if I do say so myself. Colon cleansing is basically irrigation of the lower bowels. I
Okay.
have been doing cleansing since 2016, and I'm going to tell you guys my story because everybody asks me like, what made you an hydrotherapist? You know, like what even sent you into that field?
Okay.
And it's always lifestyle or something that happened to you. So in 2015, I'm a cosmetologist by trade. I've been a cosmetologist since 1998. And
Right.
so I need my hands in order to do my job, you know.
Okay.
And so what happened was in 2015, I ended up getting dyshydrotic eczema all over my hands. And
Whoa.
it was that way. I went to the doctors. I had tried
Mhm.
to find out what was going on. My doctors weren't able to tell me what's going on.
Right.
They just gave me, the steroid cream. That's always the kind of the go-to. You put the steroid cream, hopefully that'll help it heal. And which column, here you go. So I
Right.
went back to my doctor. I was like, I really think this has something to do with what I'm eating because I kind of pulled some things out of my diet. And
Mm.
then, and I went that way and I was like, it seems like my hands are starting to get a little bit better. Okay, good.
You're fine. Go ahead. You're preaching. You're
Okay.
good.
And I was like, I must be allergic to something.
Right.
Okay. Okay. I must be allergic to something. And so she did every single food allergy test that she could do with me. She knew something was going to come back. Everything came back negative. So after that, I just went back to eating everything. My hands were just back flared up again and I didn't know what to do. She ordered like dermatologists, for me to go get scanned and get all the little skin tests. And that took like 3 months to get that done.
Right.
And all this time, my hands were just flared up and flared up and flared up. And after a while, you get to the point that it's like, I just can't do this anymore. Like this can't be my life. I can't do hair. I can't live like this. What is going on with the quality of my life that has changed, right now that
Right.
what am I doing different that I wasn't doing before that I'm getting all these breakouts? So
Right.
I went back to like really holistic, like natural health approaches. And as a cosmetologist, I was always more of a holistic cosmetologist. I was all about, I study trichology. I practice with alopecia care, trying to help people with hair loss and thinning. Hi, you're back.
Welcome
Hair
back.
loss and thinning. And then I also was doing I found out about doing colon cleansing as this part is getting your body like a really good reboot and a restart. So I was
Right.
already familiar with it. So I went to a colon hydrotherapist that I had went to before, and I told her the situation that was going on with my body. I told her that my hands were broken out. They were literally flared up. I couldn't do anything. My pictures are on my Instagram too, if you ever want to see them. But they were like raw, where they were just like
Absolutely.
peeling off and shedding every day. And I had to put like gloves on them as actually a second pair of skin, and people were wondering like, what's wrong with you? Do you got some kind of disease? What's going on?
Right.
But I went to her and I asked her about the colon cleanse. I asked her if you think it could help. She said yes. And then when I asked her that, I said, what is your story? Like, how did you become a colon hydrotherapist?
Mm-hmm.
And she told me her story. She let me know. And it's usually always rooted from some point of you having some type of affliction or just like I was going through that brought her that way. But within her telling me that, she was like, you have the most wonderful bedside manner. And, this like you just have you're empathetic for people and
Right.
you would be so good at this. And I sat on that for like a month. I was like, me doing colon hydrotherapy? Like, no, I didn't even know. But within that month of her, she gave me like all the information and I was like,
Right.
okay. And so I thought about it. There was a place that I could go down in California that cost like, $5,000. I was like, oh, I can't afford that. And then she was like, well, I have one more option for you. You can fly to Arizona. And it was a place that was like 1,700. I was able to go there. And I ended up just flying out there because my hands are so raw. I think I just went through
Oh,
for
wow.
counseling appointments again for the next 2 weeks. Like I just couldn't even do it. I couldn't braid. I couldn't do hair. It was just, they were hurting so bad.
Right.
I couldn't have jewelry, rings, just nothing on my hands. And so I flew out there so I could just go ahead. I was like, I'm going to learn how to do this and I'm going to heal myself. And then if I can heal myself, if other people are going through this affliction and stuff like that, I would like to be able to coach or help them. And that was the mindset I went there. when I got there, I asked if I could share a room with somebody. So I actually got a room with another colon hydrotherapist. She was in the field for about 13 years, and she did the Eat Right for Your Type. So she was telling me, like, you might want to look at your eating habits, change those. And so Eat Right for Your Type is all about eating off your blood type. It's so funny when you're at different stages in life, you are able to do different things, because I tried Eat Right for my type in my 20s. And I did that for maybe all of like 15 days. And I was like, this is not for me. I can't just take too much stuff out of my diet.
Right.
This is like, no. But this time I held on to that book like it was a holy grail. And I followed it by the T when I got the information this time. So when you go through training for colon hydrotherapy, you literally have to get a colonic. It was like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I ended up getting a colonic 3 days in a row. Like, didn't even know that you could even do it like that, or that could even happen, or like, you would think maybe once a year, or maybe once a
that's what I've heard, right?
Like that.
Okay.
And never even thought I could get them that close. But it's so funny. What happened was, for me, when I got them that close together, each session built upon one another. It was like a scaffolding. So like they went in, they fleshed out some stuff, and I could feel that. I could feel like even this, like my flare up in my hand, it wasn't healed or anything, but it wasn't as agitated. And then what happened was the second day, I was learning about the colon hydrotherapy and learning that this is like right below your stomach. You think it's your stomach right there that's sitting below your chest, but that is actually your colon, your transverse colon. And I was like, that's my colon that's been sticking out all this time.
Wow.
And back then, I was about right about 250, 248. I probably, since I've been doing this, have lost over 60 pounds over the past couple of years and stuff like that. So my stomach used to stick all the way out. So even within getting the 3 cleanses, my stomach went down like half the way, like just that flushing. But even more than that, this is one of the things that I can speak to too. I have 2 boys. One was like at the time, one is probably about 7. The other one is 9. Mm-hmm. So when I got off the plane and he came to hug me, because then I didn't even realize it, but I had a lot of information going on in my chest, but I didn't know what to do and what to do with it. And it kind of felt like, if I know you women, you can hear me when I speak to this, when I'm talking about like when you're like breastfeeding and your breasts are like swole up, and you can't get the milk out, but there was no milk in there. It was just like swollen and plain, and I didn't even know how to alleviate it. When I got off that plane, I was used to bracing myself when my son hugged me, because he wanted to give me these bear hugs, because he's like trying to show he's a man and he's so strong. And I'm like, So he went to come give me the hug, and then he hugged me, and there was no pain there. It was all gone. And then that's when I learned that you have a lot of major lymph nodes in your breast tissue, and a lot of that dumped during the colonic. So it was just like a lot of things all together that were cohesively, because it's systematic. Our body is not just like, this is a compartment, this is a compartment, this is a compartment. Mm-hmm. If you start clearing things out and letting things function, you'll start seeing a lot of function, a lot of different systems starting to clear out, and you'll start recognizing that things that you didn't even have anything to do with your colon are starting to clear up, and that's what happened for me. Things that didn't have to do with my colon was starting to clear up. So when I came back, I ended up probably doing, within a 2-month period, probably about 12 colonics. Like I did this book. This is the Liver and Gallbladder Cleanse by Andreas Moritz.
Okay.
I'm actually on this cleanse right now again. Okay. Can you guys see that?
Yes, we can.
And I did that, and I usually do about 2 or 3 of those with that, and I'll give you guys the information for it if you guys want that.
We need that. Please.
But within that I did about 12 colonics within that probably 2-month period. Like the 3 when I first started, came back, did 1 a week. I did about 2 or 3 with the liver and gallbladder cleanse, and then like 1 a week. And within 2 months, when I wasn't even paying attention to it, I'm working with the lady who's mentoring me with colon hydrotherapy, and I'm doing my internship because I had to do 50 colonics to get myself to be actually certified. She was like, look at your hands. And I looked at my hands, and I only had like 1 blister on them. Wow. And I didn't even realize like it healed. And it was from me changing my diet. It was from me flushing out my system and giving myself a reboot. And I just seen the biggest difference in the world. And through this, like over the years of me changing like my eating habits, making sure that I do, I have my colonics in my system on a regular basis, and I don't ever let myself get backed up. I've lost probably, like I said, over 60 pounds. My hands have healed up. I was pre-diabetic before this, where my A1C was at a 6.2. And almost like my doctor was like, you're about to be diabetic.
Yeah.
And diabetes runs in my family.
Okay.
So like my grandfather, my mother, my brother, my uncles, and it was like I was right on that path.
Right.
Since then, like the next year, I probably went down to a 5.8, and now I've been staying at a constant like a 5.5. So the diabetes is pretty much clear. And then also I'm usually anemic, and that actually went down. My iron levels have raised up. So it seems like my body is just like regulating. And then one thing also too is like my skin used to be this super acne prone. So even with healing my hands, it also just healed my skin. I had people walking up to me like, your skin looks amazing. And I'm like, are you, who are you talking to? Are you talking to me? And they were like, yeah, I'm talking to you. They're like, your skin looks flawless.
Right.
And I had to really get used to that. And I'm still getting used to it because I grew up with all this acne prone skin.
Right.
And I was the type of person that had those big old boils that you would feel them and they would hurt, those systemic ones. And they come out on my back, my face, everywhere you could think of, I probably get one. And for my stuff to get clear, it's just amazing. Like I didn't even know how to call it. And so now, like that is actually one of my points of where if I feel myself breaking out, I know my body is getting a little bit too over toxic. And that's a trigger, like you need to do a cleanse. And I felt like I kind of been off my path a little bit, and I'm reeling myself back in. So I'm actually doing this liver and gallbladder cleanse right now because I feel that I was like breaking out. It's time and stuff. It's like a 10-day cleanse. So it's like once you get to a point where you find a baseline and you feel like your body is like set low and you know how it feels to feel good. When you start to feel bad, you know it, and you want to get back to that point where you feel good again. And so that's why I'm constantly striving for that. I don't like my stomach to be too full. I don't like, that my energy for me to be too lethargic, anything like that. I always know I really truly believe whatever let food be thy medicine. And if you have a disease, you eat it, so it's all about what you food, because food is for healing.
So I want to first say,
so that's my story.
That testimony is amazing because I think we needed to see something tangible to understand the effects of what a backed up colon can do. But after you cleanse yourself of the effects, the beautiful effects of what can be embraced, natural skin, you feel more relaxed. You're not, like you said, lethargic. We need to hear things like that. I'm going to pose a question to you in a second, because what I want, Kim, what I want to ask you is, in basis of what Miss Whitaker said, because I'm going to ask you the same thing, Miss Whitaker. Kim, because you're a juicer and you juice with oils, after this reset, what natural things can we do, especially with juicing and oil, to keep ourselves in that cleansed state so that we don't, back up like that again? What would you suggest as a nutritionist?
Well, for me personally, eliminate the processed food. Processed food is a big no. Try to do as
That's
much.
What I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Fresh fruits and vegetables is your main thing to do. And even like when you do fruits and vegetables and beans, you still can get bloated. That's why the colon cleanse is also good to get, because you do not realize how much gas is in your system that does not come out. Whenever I got colon cleanse, yes, I juice a lot. I eat vegetables. Yes, I still eat my fried fruit foods, but I can tell that I was so gassy. And the lady that did my colon cleanse was in the United Arab Emirates and in Atlanta. She was like, "You're gassy," but because I eat a lot of healthy things as well. So yes, eliminate the processed food. Get back to the old times of eating fresh foods from the markets. For sure.
Interesting. So
things that come from the earth, I tell you.
That's what I was going to ask you, Ms. Whitaker, because attesting to what Kim just said, for yourself, because both of you have been through this process, like what did you change? What did you start eating that was different as well, that you can say that's tangible too?
me, like I said, when I got into this, I did the Eat Right for Your Type, blood type, by Dr. Peter J. O'Donnell. And that book was really, really good for me because it gave me something kind of like a guideline to stick with. And one of the things that I found that was flaring me so much, up so much, was wheat. Like wheat,
Really?
grain products, flour products, you want to know why? Because they have sat there and they're GMO now. They have changed these dorsal wheats all this time, and they're not the same wheat that our grandparents used to have. It's not that same wheat. It has so much chemical. It has the I'm sitting here trying the glyphosate in it, and that glyphosate just causes so many problems in you. Glyphosate is like outlawed in other places, like in Europe, they don't even use it. So that's why when you see people over there eating bread and everything like that, it does not affect them like our bread does.
Right.
Our bread has so much toxicity in it, it causes so much problems with us. And it's in everything, it's in everything. That's all these processed foods and grains that you do. So you have to be really mindful, mindful. But when I pulled that out, that was one of the biggest things that was flaring me up. I also pulled a lot of the dairy out. I don't drink milk. I usually do almond milk. I have to say I still do cheese. That's the hard one for me to give up, but I look for certain types of cheeses. I usually like to get I get like a mozzarella or something that doesn't have a lot of the hormones and stuff in it, or I'll look for a lamb cheese or a goat cheese. I like goat cheese. So stuff like that if I do cheese. I pulled I know.
You're talking about changing serious habits.
But one of the main things is to take the processed foods out your diet. So when Kim said that, I was like, she hit it right on the nail. If you didn't do anything and you just took processed foods out of the diet, then you would be so on point and you would feel so much better with no problem. I was listening to this one doctor and he was talking, and it was just really amazing. He said, you can have cake or you can have a sweet, but the only thing that I ask you to do is you bake it from scratch. And the point of it is, you eat a sweet and you bake it from scratch, you're not going to eat it that often because you're not going to want to cook it you're not going to want to take the time to cook it. And when you do take the time to cook it, you're going to be using unprocessed foods. You're not going to be putting all those, preservatives and everything in it. So, and you're going to be using real sugar, not high fructose corn syrup.
Right.
So you're going to be doing something healthier for you.
Right.
So it just works out. It won't be too often. It'll probably fall right into that 80-20 rule of doing it if you don't feel like cooking it.
Yep.
So that's like the kind of rule I go by. I really feel like I know there's bad things out there and I eat them, but at the same time, I'm trying to do it maybe 20% of the time. And then I'll try to do the good stuff. Like me and my son, we have a natural community garden that we go volunteer at. We have plots that, and they don't use any chemicals whatsoever. So we try to get a lot of locally grown veggies and food, and we're kind of eating what is local, from the day and stuff like pluots, and they have like lettuce there, and they have red onions, and they have eggs there. I mean, nothing tastes better than a real, true, free-range egg. The ones that are in the grocery store that they want to charge $10 for do not have nothing on these real free-range eggs where they are actually feeding it vegetables and all that kind of stuff. The yolk is just so much yellower and deeper.
So I gotta ask you that.
It's amazing.
Since you've jumped to that point, and also for the viewers, if you have any questions or comments, please put them on the page. These ladies will be more than happy to help them. And before we continue forward, as a reminder, these things that they're talking about, they're not proven as for a fact as far as the doctor. Please consult your doctor before you take any of this advice. Under any advisement, go to your doctor, make sure it's right for you as it has been for them. So to both of you, speaking of that, like everything you said sounds amazing. But how do we do two things? We're going to speak first to the men. Ladies, y'all know men, we're hard-headed. We don't listen when it comes to things like this. Can you both speak to the men on why? Because colon cancer is a really big deal in the African-American community, especially Black men. We don't get checked like we should. We don't go to the doctor even like we should. So speak to us. I'm a man standing here telling you I'm guilty. So speak to me and the other men and tell us what can you encourage us to do? What would you say to us to convince us that this is important?
Well, you look at the Black Panther. Like he just passed away, from colon cancer. And, and it's sad. Like, that's like a great loss. I feel like everybody just hurt so bad when they heard that. And it was such a big shock. And I truly feel that, out of know what his story was, whether it was like it was family genetics or whatever, but things run in your family. But even if that was the case, it's even more that you would want to make sure that you're keeping that area clean and actually being mindful of it. I think we know as we get older when things are changing. This is what I can say to you. I don't know what your build was when you were younger, when you were 18, but however, if you were a slim athletic build, you shouldn't be changing from that. You shouldn't be growing and having this, belly that's coming up here, and we want to call it the beer belly or whatever kind of belly that we say.
Right.
A lot of times that is your colon filling up with more fecal matter, and it's holding it there. And then you have to think of when your colon is holding that fecal matter there, your colon, the membrane of it is only as thin as an eyelid. You don't think the toxicity of that stuff seeps through your body and goes to other places in your body? I mean, you have to think about it. Like if this was sitting on your floor, would you want it sitting there? You would want to get rid of that stuff as soon as possible if this fecal matter was on your floor. Why do you want to leave it in your body like that? And it causes, like for me, that's just it. I feel like that was the reason why it was my hand. I feel like sometimes it causes like mental clarity. It goes away from me. My skin and everything like that. There's different problems that leaky gut can cause that that you can clear. You can help us if you're flushing out your system because you don't want that stuff sitting there because it's all those problems. So if your stomach is out a little bit further and you are not doing the things, and a lot of times you want to, say like, oh, this is old age, I'm getting better, I'm getting older, so this is what happens when you get older. That is not the case. And I'm going to tell you, like right now, I am 41 years old. So that's how old I am. But I feel way better now at 41 than I did at 30. Like my weight is like 60 pounds down. My energy is up. I'm moving. I get up practically probably at 4 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes I'm not going to bed at 10 or 11 o'clock. I go, and I'm a mover and a shaker with that. And my energy is like amazing. And Kim will tell you that I'm a little bit too happy for her. She doesn't even like to call me in the morning.
Oh, we love it.
I do not.
Give me a chance. I can't do you right now. So I have really good, like, outstanding energy, and that's just like my personality. Yes. But I really key it towards me sitting here and really focusing on trying to keep healthier things and flushing out the bad things in my body. And that makes the biggest difference in the world. For anybody, what I would say to you is, if you haven't tried it, just try it once. You need to get with a therapist that you would trust and that you would feel comfortable with. But the difference that you would feel after one appointment, just one appointment, the lightness, you would not even realize that it would make that much difference, or that these things were problems. A lot of times you have all this pressure in your center section, but you didn't realize it. It was because your colon was sitting there taking up space that it was not meant to take up. It's over here pushing on your back and your back's hurting, or it's pushing on your lungs and you can't breathe well. It's doing different things in your body, and it's giving other effects to your body. And a lot of times, if you get a lot of the stuff out of there that's not supposed to be in there, I feel like you feel the difference. And just so somebody, and now I'm going to tell you, because I haven't even really got into what colon cleansing is. What colon cleansing is, colonic colon hydrotherapy, it's irrigation of the lower bowel. So basically, you have your small intestines and you have your large intestine. Your large intestine consists of, from the beginning, it's your cecum, your ascending colon, your transverse, your descending, your sigmoid, and it's going to go out your back to your
people, if you don't know science, look these spots up in the body. Go ahead. Look these spots up in the body. If you don't know your scientific of your body, please look them up. Don't just take what she's saying and then just dismiss it. Like, look up a diagram of where these parts of your body are, and you'll understand what she's saying. Keep going, please.
Yes. And so what happens is, all colon cleansing is just introducing water at a very, very slow PSI into your colon, and it's letting it go in and soften all that fecal matter that has been encrusted on your colon lining. Now, you want to say like days, weeks, months, years, or even decades that this stuff has been there, and it's causing, for me, it was wreaking all type of havoc. So when I got my system flushed out, I didn't have allergies,
but I do feel like I had intolerances and I had sensitivities. And
Wow.
so because all this stuff had built up and built up and built up, and once I got it fleshed out, now if I want to eat a little bit of bread, I can eat some, but I typically just avoid it because I feel like it's one of my, my problem area.
Makes
but
sense.
you know that you learn that. And once you start to feel good, you don't like to go back to feeling bad. Like, I mean, the amount of energy and this the feeling good that I have, anytime I start to see something switch over, I'm like, okay, you need to take a pause. You need to put those brakes on. It's time for you to do a flush and, you know, and get back to normal, because I know what my normal is now. It's not my old normal. I have a new normal and I want to stay here. And so it's just been a big difference. And I think until you actually experience it, you're not going to know. And it's not about the, nobody's going to like the experience. If you get on my table and you actually like the experience per se, then I don't want you on my table because I don't know what you're doing. You know, but typically it's not, it's just an awkward experience, but it's one of those things where the ends justify the means.
Right.
So typically when you get on there, you know, you can get a little crampy. Some people may get a little bit nauseated. Some people can get chills. Some people can get headaches. They get kind of sensations in their mouth. But, you know, that's why you have the therapist there coaching you and making sure that you're staying centered and focused and breathing and everything like that. But once you get through it, I have people come back because they feel better afterwards. And they didn't even know that they could feel this good. Like, you know, like they didn't know that these things could change or this clarity would be there. And that's what brings you back. You know, like it's just the amount of energy. And it's like, my tagline is like renew, revive, you know, and transform. And so it's like, you want to be able to renew yourself. You want to be able to revive yourself. You want to be able to transform yourself, you know, and it feels amazing. Like, I feel like I transformed. I no longer that person who had all those health problems that I had. And I don't feel like I'm ever going to go back there. I won't let myself go back there now that I know better.
Right. Kim, I want you
to... My answer says, when you know better, you do better.
Do better. Kim, I want you to speak to that for especially yourself and what change you felt, and then kind of talk to the Black community as she did to the men about why this is important, because we never get this kind of information like this. When we go to OGBYN and these local places, it's not something that they just portray to the Black community that needs to be done. But apparently it's awesome because look at Miss Whitaker, like she has so much energy is pouring through my camera. Like, we need that, you know, in crazy times, we need it. So Kim, talk to us about how you feel it to the Black community about how we can take advantage of something like this.
I mean, you can do it from home. You really don't have to go, and you can go to the stores and you can buy the fruits, you can buy the vegetables, you can go to the stores, you can buy the machines yourself and do all of this. Like, once you get a colon cleanse, your system is empty. So now you're more cautious of what you're doing in your body. For me, whenever I go get a cleanse, I think twice. I was like, should I put an apple or should I go put the French fries? You know, and you think about what goes in your body. Once you have a blank slate, kind of speak, in your stomach, then you become more conscious of what you're doing. So it's not a hard process to eat more fruits and more vegetables. I know I have friends who are like, oh, I hate fruits and vegetables. But now that they're aging, you know, they're loving them. Yes, they're loving them now because they're having so many other problems that's going on with them. But it's never too late to start, you know. As long as you start, it's a good point. Yes. And I have to say with the mindset, do you know how many guys have told me, I don't want nothing up my ass? You know, that's a mindset that we have.
Right.
You know, so we got to change our thinking that, you know, I don't know how else to put it, but yeah, it's crazy.
Because if you do it, if you do it now voluntarily, or you're right, you later on do it involuntarily when you go get that checkup anyway. And you don't want that involuntarily when now you have to worry about dialysis and all these things to assist you. I think, Kim, you said it best the last time we talked. You said if you do it now, if you pay more, or you do it later and you're going to pay even more to be on all these pills that were unnecessary because you could be living your best life. I think you said that last time, and that resonated with me.
Yes, and it's true. Think about, okay, yes, it may be 99 cents to go get one of those processed, what the kids eat, Lunchables.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And with me, when my child was younger, I used to go
get an apple. You see me shaking my head.
Just we're going to talk about my Lunchables.
Go get an apple, cut it up yourself. Go get fresh.
You see me shaking my head.
You can make those same Lunchables.
Right.
It may cost a little bit more, but guess what? Your child is eating healthier.
That's a good
point. Than the price says 99 cents stuff. Because then we have so many children now with diabetes. And do they really have to have that?
And can we dive into that real quick? Because a lot of times, as we both know in our community.
And I take it even further. How about not even do the Lunchable? Let's just do some vegetables.
Yeah.
I like that. Because I mean, talk to us about it. Because I mean, in our community, real quick, like we know our community struggles with poverty. How can we get to a place where we can even afford the little bit more in some of our communities where we know minimum wage is like a thing? How do we do that?
Well, with Danita, I love her kids.
A lot of people want to say that it's expensive to be healthy, but I don't think it is per se. I know when you get into all the stuff of doing like the organic and all that kind of stuff, they try to put prices on that. But a lot of times organic to me is marketing. I don't even think, even the stuff that says that it's organic, it's marketing. It's only 70% organic. It still has stuff on it. You just want to go back to like nature and buying these whole foods. If you can get them from like your local farmers and stuff like that, and talk to your farmers and find out what's going on and what are their farming methods, that is like one of the major practices. I think I have a little leverage over a lot of people because I live right here in California in Stockton, which is in the Central Valley, which is just like the mecca of the world because we ship, produce to the whole world.
Right.
So I constantly am able to get, fresher produce and stuff like that.
Right.
But just staying away from the processed stuff. I grew up, the reason why you would want to get a, colon cleanse or just be able to refresh yourself is because I don't know if you guys grew up like me, but I grew up on top ramen noodles. I grew up drinking Kool-Aid with cups of sugar in it. Like red Kool-Aid was the favorite. I grew up with salting my plate before you even ate it, tasted something on it. We would put that table salt on it. I don't even think I knew what a spice or a seasoning was because we were just like, and it's all this salt and sodium. Like, it's just like, and everything was processed. We thought the processed food. When Mama made the good biscuits from scratch, we didn't want that because we wanted the dang Pillsbury buttermilk biscuits, and we thought we was getting cheated. We didn't, you didn't even know because they're marketing. The brainwashes kids that we want all this garbage.
Right.
I grew up with like the canned foods and stuff like that. And when I got older, and weight has always been an issue for me. Like it always has been a problem. My brothers, they was blessed. They sat there and they could eat anything. They could eat double the amount as me, and they would say skinny, and then they would call me fat. All those kind of things. And as I grew older, I was very health conscious. Like everything that I recall, I could say this has been from childhood that I've always been going in the direction of, well, what's going to keep me healthy? What's going to do this? I was seeing family members. When I was 3 years old, my father had a stroke. He had a heart attack. So I'm seeing these things like run in my family, and he had an aneurysm. So he was already sick by the time that I was there. And I've always said, like your father, he wasn't the man that he used to be. And everybody used to tell me the stories of how he was before he got sick like that. But a lot of these things, he used to drink, he used to smoke, he used to eat, now with high blood pressure, all that kind of stuff. So that's what geared me into really like thinking like this. A lot of people want to say it's genetic, but lifestyle is genetic. You don't just transfer these genes, you transfer these eating habits. So if you can change your environment and stop and give a reboot on that, then you will really see a difference, and you can change what your future is. You don't have to let somebody else predict your future just because of that. You can change it. And I'm a walking image of that.
And my brothers who used to be skinny, and they're putting on weight as they get older, now they're coming and trying to talk to me. So it's a good thing.
I love it. And just
Right.
one more thing before we end, because I believe you've given so much knowledge to both of you. And I do want to say we're going to have you back very soon. So please clear your schedule, because these tips our community needs to continue to get from people like you that have experienced the blessing of colon cleansing and then keeping up with it. My question to you is, I know, and I do miss Michelle Obama. I miss her a lot. She was trying to put out a plan of more healthier type foods in the school systems. And you all alluded to something I like about making your kids a healthier type lunch. And I know me and Kim have talked about Mora and the things Mora now prefers, because she started to grow up on this lifestyle, and you both alluded to. But how do we, like, seriously, because these are awesome things for us, but how do we help transform our circle of influence in our communities into buying into this? Because when you have a lifestyle, you said the 80-20, when 80 is this for so long, it's hard to just flip 80 and 20 like that. What are some steps we can take to encourage our friends and our family and our community to do this?
Talk to them. I mean, just keep talking to them. When they come around, let them try different things. My family, our family, it's a hard sell because they're so used to the chitlins and the fried chicken, and but it just takes one day at a time, one step at a time. Just continue talking, and eventually they'll get it. I have to say, with my family, it's been about 20 years, and they're finally coming around to not using pork as much.
Right.
So that's a good thing. It's going to take generations to change mindset in our community of the healthy foods and what's good for our body.
Right. I love that. What say you, Ms. Whitaker?
I agree with what Kim said. And what I think is, everybody, when they want to do a change, they always want to see black and white, but it's not. Life is not black and white. We are always somewhere in the gray, in the middle. So you can't just be like, oh, I'm not going to be healthy and I'm going to be healthy. And it doesn't happen like that. So you have to just decide, like, okay, I need to take one step, and then I'm going to make sure today I'm going to drink more water. I know I need my water count to be 64 ounces or a gallon or whatever you decide your water count to be. And so with that, I always believe in doing a push out method instead of a telling you that you can't eat method. So when you do a push out method, is you push in food. So you say that I have to do this amount of this water. And then so you're focusing on this water, and then other things are going to fall out because you're trying to get all this water. And so you ain't got time to drink this soda. Right. You don't got time to, to drink this, Kool-Aid or whatever, because you got to get this water in.
She's preaching to me.
Same thing for same thing for your fruits and vegetables. I mean, like, if you say that you're going to eat a certain amount of fruit and vegetables today, then you're going to eat that, and then you're not going to eat that Hot Pocket, or you're not going to eat that microwave meal, because you need to make yourself a salad and get your fruits and vegetables in. Are you going to make yourself a king food? And I think it's like how Kim said, people have to try things, get introduced to them. So maybe like accountability partners. Get somebody that that kind of wants to be on that healthier track with you. And you guys talk and make sure that you guys are checking in on each other. So when one person falls short, then the other one can help pick them up, and then you guys can stay up together. And that plays such a big role, because sometimes you just don't feel like doing it. And and then when your partner comes over here like, hey, how you doing today? Did you make that juice? Did you go for that walk? And you're like, I'm about to. So it really does help. And
we ain't trying to hear that, but I hear you.
21 days to make it a habit if somebody's doing that. Yeah.
Right.
But you do. Try one thing at a time. You can't do it all in one time. You do one thing, and then after you get that one down, then you come and put another one in. So I'm going to take wheat out my diet. I don't want to eat the bread, or I'm going to eat very little bread, maybe like once a month or twice a month. Then I'll eat that. And then I'm not eating pork, so I'm going to take the pork out the diet. You just pick one thing, and you get used to that. If you try to do everything all at once, that can keep you in culture shock. And then what you do, you go back 100 times harder and you eat
Right.
everything, so you just got push in just a little bit and a little bit.
Right.
You didn't do this all in one day, or you didn't do this in a month, so you're not going to change this. This has been years, for me. So you slowly got to change, and then you can slowly revert back. That's what it is.
Can I jump on that
And
real
it's a
quickly before we go?
lifestyle.
What you just said, real quick for both of you.
Yeah.
I know we got to go, but I really want you all to please, if you could, hit us on the psychological side of that, because we know it's a body change, but mentally, I know you said day by day, but mentally, how do I just start? Because my mind is telling me, you know the song, my body is saying yes, my mind is telling me no. Like, I don't want to do that. I want to be able
It's
to,
hard.
yeah, talk to me about that. Like,
it's very hard. I mean, we're not perfect. I'm not perfect.
right.
But it's self-talk. You have to tell yourself, is this good for me? Is it not? What's the effects of me eating this now? And yes, we have that. I'm going to eat this anyway. But then the after fact, I mean, how did it make you feel? You have to have those true conversations with yourself about what's going in your body.
Yeah.
I love
self-talk.
that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One thing about I find with when I get colonic too, one thing I find when I get colonic too, it makes my body more hypersensitive to the things I put in my body. So I get fuller faster because I feel like when you stay full, you kind of have this measurement, right? That this is your full mark right here. But we're constantly already up here, so we can't even hear it raining or going off. So when you get this colonic and it takes you back down here, and now you're able to hear this sound, when you put something in your body and it doesn't agree with it, you can kind of taste it that first time, and your body's like, no, don't eat that. That's not good for you. It kind of just makes you feel a certain kind of way. So we got to get back used to listening to our body, because our body is telling us how something makes us feel if it doesn't make us feel good. But right now, all our senses are up so high, we can't even hear it. So we got to get them back down low so we can be able to hear what our body's saying and listen to it. And then you'll know when something makes you feel good. Food is not supposed to make you, I'm going to take this because Thanksgiving is right around the corner. Food is not supposed to make you feel lethargic. After you eat that good old meal, you're not supposed to want to go roll over on the couch and lay down.
But why?
For energy. When you eat food, it should make you feel amazing and be able to want to go and finish the rest of that day. So if you're eating a food that makes you feel lethargic, you might want to rethink your food. And
Loyals,
I'm not going to say anything else.
Canceled. That's what she just said. There is no Thanksgiving. You can be thanks, but ain't nobody giving nothing. She has canceled it for you. But I will say this before we close. I want to say, number one, thank you to you, Mrs. Kim. Yes, thank you, Mrs. Kim. Thank you, Mrs. DL. This has been eye-opening for me. One quote that I always like that the late great Dick Gregory said. He said there's 3 reasons that Americans die faster than anybody else. He said, number 1, lack of exercise. He said number 2, you're dehydrated. And he said number 3, you don't sleep enough. And he said those are the 3 reasons that Americans die faster than any other nation. But what I'm hearing tonight is with colon cleansing and infusing the colon cleansing with after your colon is cleansed with natural resources, natural food, natural drinks, you're able to get more sleep. You're able to exercise because you have energy, and you keep yourself hydrated with the right amounts of things you should be drinking. Our community, I'm speaking to our community, these ladies have given you their heart. They've told you what you need. They've given you the right start. They said link up with some people that are going in that direction that can help motivate you. Even though they canceled Thanksgiving, which I understand why, it's what we need this for our community. We need this for our community to live longer. And I'm thankful that these 2 ladies took the time to share their testimony of how we can live longer, to see the fruits of our labor for our kids and our kids' kids. Because I want to see my grandkids. And I don't want to see my grandkids, if I can't help it, on some kind of instrument or dialysis. I don't have to. I can control it. So any final comments from you 2 ladies before we sign off? Anything?
We need our men. We need our women. The mindset, ladies and gentlemen, the mindset.
The mindset. We need our men and women. Ms. DL?
Basically, just we need our community too. So all together, we have to work together as a whole and pull each other up instead of pulling each other down. And so this is one of the best ways to do it, is to focus on our health so we can be healthy for our next generations to come.
I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, loyals, you have heard it here first. We appreciate you tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, leave them on the live stream. Share, comment, and like. But most of all, do what's been said here today and consult your doctor first before you make any of these life changes. But I'm pretty sure your doctor wants you to live longer too. So we are out. Thank you, ladies, for coming through. We appreciate it. Have a good day, loyals. Thank you.
Good night.